What if I told you that there was a wrestling war going on? You probably wouldn't believe me, but the reality is there indeed is one. Right now, WWE and AEW are at their throats like there's never been before. Even during the Wednesday Night Wars when NXT was going head-to-head with AEW Dynamite, it didn't feel like they were as ruthless as they are right now. WWE is counter-programming AEW pay-per-views. AEW has been taking shots at WWE now ever since CM Punk left the company, and it just feels like there is so much bad blood, and right now, WWE is the more aggressive party. WWE, of course, has counter-programmed the last few AEW events. They counter-programmed AEW All in Texas with Saturday night's main event. Then they most recently tried to counter-program AEW All Out Toronto with their own pay-per-view, the first ever WWE PLE on ESPN in the United States. And that, of course, caused AEW to move All Out to a different time period. Point is, these two companies do not like each other. And right now, AEW has been on the back foot. But in this video, I'm going to tell you why AEW not only will fight back, but should fight back. All that much more coming up right here in this video. So be sure to smash that thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I'm Big Ohm for Real Take Wrestling. Let's dive right in. As I said before, there's really no love lost when it comes to WWE and AEW. The company's been taking shots at each other for the past couple of years, and it doesn't feel like that's going to stop anytime soon. And it only aggravated back in 2023 when CM Punk came back to WWE, and we saw him take some shots. AEW in turn did that whole thing where they showed the CM Punk video of him fighting Jack Perry, and of course the internet had a field day with all of this. But more recently, it has been more aggressive from WWE, because it always felt like before WWE was trying to send a message to AEW. They were trying to let AEW know that they were indeed the big dog, that they were the industry leader. They were the best when it came to entertainment. And that is still true. WWE, in my opinion, is the biggest company that has ever existed as far as professional wrestling. And if you want to look at facts, they are drawing more revenue, they're getting more fans, they are getting more buzz than they have probably ever gotten in their history. So it is hard to argue against that specific critique. Now, where the issue becomes a little bit more nuanced and a little bit more funky is when you factor in right now that there's a lot of bad blood with WWE and a certain subsect of the wrestling audience. You not only have several controversies from the Vince McMahon Janelle Grant lawsuit to them deciding to bring back Brock Lesnar despite the fact that he was named 44 times in said lawsuit, and more recently Paul Heyman going out and calling that a conspiracy theory, or at least alluding to that being a conspiracy theory on Friday Night SmackDown. The point is, fans are kind of upset at WWE, and you combine that with the recent deal to bring WrestleMania to Saudi Arabia. You got a lot of people kind of in the anti-WWE camp, and it causes an opportunity for AEW, who can use Saudi Arabia and the WrestleMania that WWE is hosting there in 2027 to their advantage. Of course, AEW has hit its own kind of woes recently, less so with PR and more so with their attendance, more so with the fact that AEW no longer feels like, or at one point no longer felt like, the place to be. But slowly but surely, through good booking, through building up their own stars like Hangman Page, Kyle Fletcher, Will Ospreay, Tony Storm, and many others, AEW feels like it has kind of brought back that perception that it is the best wrestling company in the world. Not biggest. Don't come at me in the comments over that. But the best wrestling company. And of course, best is subjective, but I think one thing we can all agree on right now, AEW is hotter than they have been in the years 2024 and the latter part of 2023. They are getting better attendance. The shows feel a little bit bigger. And on top of that, the pay-per-views are killing it for AEW in 2025, not only from a buy rate perspective, their most recent one having reportedly 145,000 buys at All Out, and also from an attendance perspective, they're killing it. Like, they're doing very well right now. And I think if AEW wants to be serious, because WWE has been encroaching on their territory, they've been trying to be more aggressive, as I've said before, I think at some point you have to fight back. One of the key pillars of AEW when it first started was being the antithesis to WWE, being the polar opposite, being the challenger brand, being that alternative. And right now you have a large amount of fans who are turned off by the Brock Lesnar allegations, who are turned off by the fact that WWE is doing a propaganda show in Saudi Arabia for hundreds of millions of dollars. And on top of it all, you have an opportunity to not only get some of that momentum back that you may have lost, fight back against them encroaching on your times, encroaching on your territory, encroaching on your business, but also let the fans know that you're not going anywhere. And for me, if there was ever a time for AEW to do something aggressive, it would definitely be Saudi Arabia, WrestleMania weekend 2027. AEW needs to run a 2-night event that weekend. And it works from both a perception standpoint and a business standpoint. The perception standpoint is very easy, very clear. WWE is running a show that is turning off a large subsect of an audience that they have, and you can try to capture that energy, capture that magic, capture that feeling of we are different. While WWE is going to do a blood money show overseas, AEW is going to be here. AEW is going to be potentially in New Orleans, a city that now seemingly will probably never get a WrestleMania anytime soon. But go to a city like that. Go to a city like New York. Go to a city like Chicago, a wrestling hub. You got to let the fans know that you are still here. And by doing that, you will open up the opportunity to do a lot of good business, because you will be able to attract fans. You will be able to ignite fans. You'll be able to maybe get some lapsed fans to tune in and see what you're doing. But also, you'll be able to help foster a wrestling ecosystem in America that is going to need something to ground it that weekend. Remember, the Saudi Arabia show is going to be in Riyadh. So WrestleCon, GCW, and several other companies are going to have a lot of trouble putting on their regular WrestleMania week shows without that ground central event to have a place to be. So if I'm AEW, I would just go and do that. I would be that central event and have the entire wrestling ecosystem that normally goes and centers around WrestleMania center around you. Tony Khan has even hinted towards this, saying that he plans to announce a pretty big Revolution 2027, and he is thinking about, that weekend being a place where he could do something big. So we'll see when and if that announcement ever comes. Cue the graphic, Tony. But in the end, I think that it makes business sense, because you will be able to attract wrestling companies, you'll be able to attract wrestling fans, you'll be able to attract some buzz potentially. And for those of you who may be saying, well, that's a stupid idea, why the hell would AEW do a show WrestleMania weekend? Why would you say that they should go head to head with WrestleMania? Well, dumbass, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that AEW should do a show WrestleMania weekend 2027, because WrestleMania is not going to be on in the evening that night. WrestleMania is going to be on at like 10 a.m. because remember, it is in Saudi Arabia. It is not going to be broadcast at its normal time. It is going to be at its own morning time if you're on the East Coast. And that presents an opportunity, because the rest of that day is going to be pretty freaking open. Even if they run an NXT show or whatever, it is not going to be enough, because you know for a fact that the big stars are going to be in Riyadh for WrestleMania. And for AEW, their big stars are going to be wherever that show may be. I think it is important for Tony Khan and AEW to fight back, because I want there to be room for 2 wrestling companies to exist. I want there to be room for 3 wrestling companies to exist. I want there to be room with 5 major wrestling companies to exist. Let every company thrive. I don't agree with the way that WWE has gone about this business. It is one thing to try to bring out the best in your talent, to try to bring out the best in other talent, but it's a whole nother to try to hurt another company that helps more wrestlers get paid and that helps wrestling grow. I want WWE and AEW to continue to do the wonderful things that they do separately, and that should be a thing. That should happen. The wrestling world is better off when that does happen, but unfortunately, WWE has gone the route of trying to be aggressive, trying to hurt AEW in efforts to get companies to lowball them on their next TV deal, and hence hurting the company's business. And the reality is, WWE, TKO especially, are very concerned with the way that AEW have been paying talent. They do not want to pay talent this exorbitant amount of money that they have been. They want to try to maximize those profits as much as humanly possible. And it's just easier to do that when they are the only big game in town. So the only thing you can do if you're AEW is fight back. It's what they should do. It's what I think they will do. But will they? I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments, though. What did you guys think of this? Do you guys think that AEW should fight back? Should they take shots at WWE, or should they just put on their show and let it speak for itself? I want to hear from you guys in the comments below. Also, be sure to smash that thumbs up if you haven't already. Hit that join button. Get access to some exclusive videos over there by becoming a member for as little as $5 a month. Until next time, I'm Omer Q, Big Ohm as they call me. Be happy, be healthy, and as always, keep it real.